Sometimes when the sun starts going down behind the trees and the house becomes quiet, I sit in my old rocking chair by the window and look out at the road. Nothing passes by, just the wind moving the dry leaves, and maybe a bird flying home for the night. And in that silence, so deep and gentle, memories begin to visit me. Memories of when this house was full of voices, of laughter, of little footsteps running through the hallway, of dishes clinking in the kitchen, of warm hands holding mine. My name is Rose. I am 78 years old, and today I want to talk to you as if we were sitting together on this porch, sharing a warm cup of coffee with no hurry, because I know many of you feel what I feel, that strange, heavy feeling when your children don't call like they used to. I'm not here to complain. I'm not here to blame anyone. I'm here to open my heart, to tell my story, and maybe help you understand your own. Stay with me for a little while. There is no rush. Sometimes the quiet stories are the ones that hold us the most. Let me tell you how this house used to be. Back then, silence did not live here. I woke up early before the sun was fully awake. I made breakfast while my children were still sleeping. The smell of toast and coffee filled the kitchen. Little by little, the house came alive. Sleepy voices saying, "Mom, I'm hungry." Bare feet walking across the wooden floor. Small arguments about who sat where at the table. And me, tired, yes, but deeply happy. We didn't have much money. We never really did. But we had something better. We had time together, long talks at the dinner table, Sunday soup simmering on the stove, homework at the kitchen counter, stories before bedtime. I truly believe that season would last forever. But time? Time doesn't ask permission. It simply keeps moving. The children grew up. They went out more. They stayed out late. They built their own lives. And without even noticing how, I slowly stepped into the background. At first it didn't hurt. It felt natural. After all, I raised them to fly. But what came later, that was different, and that is when my heart began to feel something I didn't yet have words for. And what happened next changed me in ways I never expected. There was a time when the phone never rested. It rang to say they were running late, to ask about recipes, to share small things. "Mom, I had a good day." "Mom, I'm tired." "Mom, I love you." Whenever I heard it ring, I dropped everything, even if my knees hurt, even if my hands were wet from washing dishes. I always answered. But one day, the phone became quiet. At first, I told myself it was nothing. "They're busy," I said. "They'll call tomorrow." Tomorrow came, and no call. I began to look at the phone the way you look at a closed door, hoping someone will knock. I cleaned it, moved it closer, turned the volume up, as if I could invite their voices back with hope alone. Sometimes I called them myself, just to hear their voices. But I noticed something had changed. The conversations became shorter, faster, rushed. "I'll call you later, Mom." "I can't talk right now. I'm in a meeting." And I always said, "That's okay." But after hanging up, I would sit quietly and look at my hands. Hands that once held babies, now holding nothing but air. That's when I understood something painful. You can be surrounded by people in the world and still feel very alone. But there was another lesson waiting for me, a deeper one, and it came when I started noticing changes inside myself. Loneliness doesn't arrive all at once. It comes slowly. First, an empty chair. Then, one less plate on the table. Then, closed bedroom doors. I began talking to myself, not because I was losing my mind, but because I needed to hear a voice. Sometimes I talked to the kettle, to the plants, to old photographs hanging on the wall. It hurt to admit it, but I felt forgotten. One afternoon, while cleaning a drawer, I found old drawings, crooked letters, little notes that said, "I love you, Mom." I sat on the floor and I cried, not only from sadness, but from love, from everything we had shared. And in that moment, something inside me shifted. I realized my children didn't stop loving me. Life simply pushed them to run faster, to work harder, to survive. And in that running, people forget to look back. I remembered my own younger years, how busy I was, how many calls I postponed. And so I stopped waiting so much and started living differently. I walked slower, let the sun warm my face, treated my plants like old friends, chatted with neighbors, smiled at strangers in the grocery store. Because life, even when it changes, can still be gentle. But there was one last lesson, the hardest one, and I want to share it with you now. Letting go does not mean stopping loving. I learned that late in life, but I learned it well. I wanted my children close. I wanted more visits, more calls, more presents. But real love does not chain people. It does not beg. It does not shout. Real love stays quietly open. I began sending simple messages. No guilt, no sadness, just thinking of you today. Hope you're doing well. I love you. Something beautiful happened, not overnight, not magically, but slowly. Some reached back more, others less, and I had to accept that too. I learned that every child loves differently. Not everyone knows how to show it the same way. And I learned something even more important. I deserve love too. I deserve peace. I deserve joy. I am not only a mother, I am a woman, a person, a lifetime of stories. I began caring for myself again, dressing nicely even when staying home, cooking good meals just for me, playing old music and dancing slowly in the kitchen. And in that space, I found something unexpected, peace. But before I say goodbye, there is one last thing I want you to carry with you. Today, at 78 years old, I no longer wait for the phone to ring all day. Now, I am grateful when it rings, and when it doesn't, I am grateful for the quiet, because I learned that love doesn't always arrive as phone calls. Sometimes it lives in memories, in photographs, in the lessons we planted in young hearts. If you feel that your children don't call like they used to, I want you to know this. You are not invisible. You are not forgotten. Your life mattered. Your love left marks that time cannot erase. They may not say it often now, but somewhere deep inside them, your hugs still live. Today, do something kind for yourself. Make a cup of tea. Sit in the sunlight. Take a deep breath. You are still here, and you still matter. If this story touched your heart, share your own in the comments. I want to hear you. I want to sit with your story too. And if you know someone who needs these words, send them this video. Sometimes a story can feel like a warm hug. I will stay here in my chair, watching the sunset, thinking of you. Thank you for listening. Thank you for staying. And remember, as long as we carry memory and love, we are never truly alone.